What's up, teachers on fire? Today I want to show you how to adjust your Seesaw settings in just the right way. This is Teachers on Fire recommended Seesaw settings. Here we go. Inside Seesaw, you're going to go inside your Seesaw classroom and hit the wrench, and that is where we adjust our settings. Okay, I'm going with 7th grade. Some of the settings that we talk about will vary according to grade level, so you have to keep in mind student maturity and independence and autonomy. But as we go through, I might make a few references to that. So right away, class theme, you can adjust and change up the color. The default is purple. You might want to mix that up a little bit. You might want to change your class icon. Have a little fun with that. You can upload your own image. That's not super important, but that is fun. Okay, how do students sign in? I like the email SSO, and basically my students are going to use Google. They're going to use their school provided Google account and click the G to sign in. The G for Google, okay? And that way they don't really have to remember their passwords as long as they are signed in with Google. Then we're going to go down and let's talk about this one, student likes and comments. Well, of course I'm going to enable student likes. I don't understand why this one is off by default, so let's turn it on. And then we're going to, yes, enable student comments. And I do think it's probably wise to always require approval for student comments. This means that their comments won't appear instantly on the Seesaw journal or blog until you've approved them. Now, the next student setting we want to talk about is this one. Students can see each other's work. You could turn this on. That would change your Seesaw journal, your Seesaw page to basically an instant blog because everyone sees everything. For that reason, I like to turn this off. And the reason I like to do that is that I believe there should be a healthy portion of the Seesaw, of the use of Seesaw that really is just the student's journal, visible only by the student, the parents, and the teacher or teachers. So when a student posts something to their journal, they're not sharing it with the entire class. They're just sharing it with their teachers and their parents and the people who are invested directly in their learning journey. Now, we'll come back to the blog in a moment and we'll talk about when are the cases when you want all classmates to be able to see each other's work. New items require approval. Now, this one, I have a running disagreement with my colleague in the primary space. Primary students, do they have the maturity to always post appropriate content? Maybe not. But in the middle years, I'm going to turn this off because I believe students are pretty good judges, at least the ones that I work with, pretty good judges of when it's appropriate to post an artifact, a photo, a video, a Google Doc, what have you. And I don't always want to be approving every time they want to post something to their journal. I like to leave item editing on, which means students can go back in and edit something. And so this is not a setting I've worked with very often, but I believe what it's saying is that students can untag themselves from posts if they wish. Okay, let's keep going. So we've turned off new items require approval and enable sample student. Always turn this on, teachers, because after you post an activity, you want the ability to walk through that activity and actually see what it would feel like, look like for the students. And just to make sure, you kind of want to troubleshoot, right? You want to make sure it's been posted correctly. Enable family access. I can't tell you the number of Seesaw classrooms that I walk into, or that I visit, I should say, and this is turned off. Why would we ever want enable family access off? I feel like it is a default, and maybe Seesaw is just saying, we want you to be mindful and aware before you turn this on. Yeah, that's fair. I suppose that makes sense. All right, pending family approvals. Let's go down to family likes. Now, enable family sharing. Again, that gives limited power, I believe, to parents, for example, to share with grandparents and that sort of thing. That's my understanding. I haven't used that setting a whole lot. Enable family likes. Yes, of course, we're turning this one on. We want parents to be able to like their child's content, their posts. Enable family comments, and then new comments require approval. Now, again, this is a contentious area for some. In my years of Seesaw, I've used Seesaw for about 8 years now. I've only seen one time where a parent comment was actually so harsh that it produced a pretty negative reaction in the child. But for the most part, parents are super encouraging, and I mean, they are the parents. Let's not take that, in my view, I'm not going to filter. I'm not going to be an in-between the parent and the child. So I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to go down to the blog, enable class blog. So we're going to call it demonstration class, and let's see if this URL is available. Demonstration class, and as soon, oh, it's taken in Vancouver. Oh, that's too many. Oh, demonstration class in. Now, I will say this, the URL, not super important. You could share this URL with, I suppose, with parents and with other members of the school community if you wished, and then you could get into password creation. The reason I use the blog, and let's go ahead and finish the completion here. Enable comments, yes, of course, and password protect. So this, I would generally leave this unlocked because, again, let me explain. I'm not using the blog to share outside of my class. What I'm doing is I'm encouraging students to put some of their artifacts of learning, some of what they've posted in their journal, they can put it on the blog. And they do that simply by selecting the file folder icon underneath their artifact and sending it to the blog. And the reason I do this is just because sometimes we've created some products of learning that are really fun to share. Maybe we've all created slide decks or presentations, posters, other artifacts, and it's just fun to share those with classmates and to allow classmates to offer appreciative feedback. That's something that I'm really careful to say too, is that when it comes to offering feedback on the blog, we're not going to offer any constructive feedback. So this is not the time to share kind, specific, and helpful feedback, as in you should increase your contrast, or you should change your font, or you need to add more paragraphs, or this or that. That's all. It has its place, it's helpful, but for the blog, when 25 or 30 eyeballs are all on it, we're just going to keep it appreciative, like, hey, I really like what you did here, and that kind of feedback. Okay, so I think we've gone through all the settings. Blog settings, password protect. I think we're leaving that off. Again, I'm not sharing it outside of my classroom. Blog appearance, view blog and connected blogs. Connect to other classrooms through Seesaw connected blogs. Oh, that is something I have not tried, but I actually have multiple sections. I think what this means is, let's say I have 3 6th grade classes that have all completed this summative kind of activity, like let's say a poster in science. I could connect these class blogs and then they could view each other's work. So instead of just in one class, 3 classes could all share work and feedback. That could be really fun. So I think there's an opportunity there. That brings us, let's just talk about folders. So when I post student work or students post artifacts of learning to their Seesaw journals, I like to color code or folder code their work. Folder code? I like to color code it and put the work in the appropriate subject folder. There we go. So I would make a folder for math and folders for English language arts. I'm using the traditional colors here. You tell me if you would choose something different, but maybe green for science and so on. And you can do this too. You can keep adding even as you're posting artifacts. So that's easy to do. But folks, those are the settings that I recommend here in Seesaw. I hope my reasoning made sense. Let me know if you have any questions or if you strongly disagree with one of the settings I've chosen. I'd love to hear about it. As always, if this video was helpful, go ahead and give it a like and gently press the subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon right here on Teachers on Fire.